Welcome to Word of Mouth. Hey, Jordan Weaver.
What's up, Myers?
How are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm good. You want to tell everybody a little bit about you and what you do?
Yeah. I don't know where to start. I'm Jordan Weaver. Let's see. I grew up in the Atlanta area, Alpharetta. Came to Birmingham in 2016 to go to Samford. Played football at Samford and was an econ and political science major, and took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do, but I had a mentor who helped get me into commercial real estate and fell in love with commercial real estate and fell in love with Birmingham. And then my senior year started dating Eliza and fell in love with Eliza. And so we stayed in Birmingham, and I've been working in commercial real estate ever since.
Nice. Love it. Well, okay, grew up in Atlanta. Do you have siblings?
I have a younger sister.
Okay. Did she end up doing Samford or go somewhere
No,
else?
she went to Baylor.
Okay.
And she lives in Dallas right now and is about to move to Chattanooga.
Cool.
Yeah.
Coming back.
Yeah, I'm excited for her to be a little closer.
Yeah.
Driving distance.
Yeah. What did your parents do when you were growing up?
My mom worked at a hospital, at Northside Hospital in Atlanta, and she was kind of like on the administrative team, and she was helping manage like the skin cancer department.
Okay.
And then my dad worked at Coca-Cola.
Cool.
And he worked at Coca-Cola for, 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. Why did you decide to study econ and political science? Don't let your skin be the reason that you're embarrassed to wear a swimsuit this summer. If you have psoriasis or rosacea or eczema or something like that, it's treatable. You can take care of it. Go see Total Dermatology. They'll set you up right. They'll get you taken care of. They take your health insurance, and they have same week availability. You can go see them on your lunch break. Don't let your skin be a reason that you're embarrassed and don't want to go to the pool, don't want to go to the river, don't want to go outside and be with your friends. These things are treatable, and it's easy to go talk to a professional. You have health insurance for a reason. You should use it, and use it at Total Dermatology. They have offices all over Birmingham. Go check them out. Great people over there. They'll take really good care of you. Back to the episode.
Well, I started out thinking that I would go to law school.
Okay.
And so I was in the pre-law program, and I think that I really just didn't know what I wanted to do. And my parents told me that I like to argue, and so they thought that law school would be a good choice for a kid who liked to argue.
Yeah.
And so at Samford, when you were in the pre-law program, they would let you take a law school class as an undergrad, and it was to try to get you ready for law school. So my first semester at Samford, I took legal writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was day one of that class that I was like, yeah, law school is not going to be for me.
Yeah.
So legal writing did not go well. And I think I was just undeclared for a year. And then...
What do you do when you're undeclared? Are you just taking like math and...
Well, I was still in those like pre-law classes, but I wasn't a pre-law major.
Okay.
So I was just taking
So you're
CA
just taking
and
credits
CP,
and stuff. Yeah.
And then somehow wound up. I kind of wanted to keep political science, and I don't really know why. I just thought that maybe that would, if I did want to go to law school, if I changed my mind later, I thought that might be a good thing to have. And so I added on political science and econ.
Yeah. Cool. What kind of drew you to econ?
I don't even know. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
And
are you a big picture guy? Or are you more of like getting the details about like local economics or
I liked
whatever?
micro.
Okay.
You were talking about Dr. Cardin and macro, but I liked microeconomics and thinking about specific situations. And what I really think is super interesting about micro was thinking about incentives and thinking about how people react to certain situations and how to structure incentives to, I guess you could say, to get people to
Make people do things.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in a way, econ ruined me because it made me think about how do you make anyone do anything, and then it makes me upset whenever I'm in a situation where I'm not being appropriately incentivized.
Right.
And I guess most people just don't think about what they're doing most of the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, people in positions of leadership don't think about what they're actually like communicating to the people that they're leading. They just kind of do what they do, you know?
Have you seen that? Do you have like a specific situation in mind?
Let me think. Yes. But probably not one that I should talk about.
Fair.
If that makes sense. I've just seen, like, I'm a huge nerd about business and particularly interested in like entrepreneurship, the process of starting businesses. I'm interested in how people run their businesses. I read a book, I think it was last year, called The E-Myth. Have you read that?
I haven't read it, but I've heard of it.
The tagline is "Why Most Small Businesses Fail," and it's was really impactful to me. But I think the thesis of that book was most small businesses start because someone gets really good at doing something, and then they see their boss and they're like, he's making more money than me, she's making more money than me, I'm better at this than they are, or just as good, but they're making more money than me, so I could do it on my own. So then they go do it on their own, but they don't realize that, like, just because you know how to hang sheetrock or fix HVAC units or sell insurance or whatever it is, doesn't mean that
run a business.
Yes, it's a whole other skill set to run a business.
And manage people.
And manage incentives and make sure that things are appropriately organized, and also manage your finances. Like, it's just so much more than just doing the thing.
Right.
And I'm most passionate about the business and the business systems part. But a lot of my experience with small business owners has been that they're very passionate about running the business part, not the business part, the activity that generates the revenue, right, whatever that is, selling the insurance or doing the, plumbing or whatever.
Yeah.
And so then I get frustrated because I see all this potential from a business perspective of what they could be doing, but they're caught in the weeds of doing the activity. But you have to do the activity to actually have revenue and run the business to begin with. So,
right.
Anyway, so I think in the long run it'll play well for me because I'll have a good understanding of how businesses run, and how incentives work. But in the short run, it makes me frustrated as like the guy on the bottom end of the totem pole who's like looking up and not understanding why people make certain decisions.
Have you talked to is there someone that comes to mind that is really good at their specific service or selling their product, and they also have a great business mind?
Yeah, I think those are the people that I admire. Like, to some extent, building a large business just takes a lot of time and effort, but to another extent, like, it has to be done on purpose. Because most people will hit a ceiling of what their skill set allows, and then they don't go beyond that because they don't want to learn whatever new skill it is they have to learn, or they don't want to give up something that they like having control of. And so I think the people that I admire have been able to like die to themselves in that way over and over again and give up control or, whatever it is to learn the new skill to then advance and grow in their skill set as a business owner.
To figure out how to not micromanage it, to let it grow. Yeah.
And to trust people. And that's where incentives come in, because it's like, well, if you appropriately incentivize people to
do their work,
and do the work, not like, be in the office or, some other metric that has nothing to do with the work.
Actually being productive.
Actually accomplish things, then your business will grow and you don't have to micromanage because you trust your people to do their jobs. So anyway, there's my tangent. Okay, so when you graduated, what did you do? Did you go straight into commercial real estate?
Yeah, I had met a guy named David Oakley.
Okay.
And he was a mentor for me, and huge mentor, and really helped me figure out what I wanted to do. And I'll tell a quick story about him. To this day, I still don't really know why he took an interest in me. I met him through Sigma Nu when we were getting kicked off campus. He was one of the guys that came in on the alumni board, and for whatever reason, we just kind of clicked and started getting along. And I started asking for his advice on, what to do and what kind of career I should have or what I should go into. So we started talking about it, and he said that he would introduce me to anybody that I asked him to that he knew. And so I'll never forget, I went on his LinkedIn page and I just went to his connections.
Yeah.
And I started looking through them, and I started looking for anybody who looked interesting. And I'd be like, David, can you introduce me to so-and-so at Regions? And he's like, yeah, no problem. How about so-and-so at Protective Life? And he's like, yeah, no problem. So we did this. He introduced me to probably 20 to 25 people, and I went and had meetings with these people to try to figure out what I wanted to do or what career I wanted to go into. And every time I'd come back and David would ask how it went, and I would say, man, it was awesome. I really enjoyed meeting whoever that was. I'm just not sure about banking or insurance or whatever it was. And so this went on for a couple months, and then one day I asked him for an introduction to somebody, and he was like, no. He's like, look, I've introduced you to 20 or 25 people. He was like, you can either come do an unpaid internship with me or, find somebody else to introduce you to a bunch of people. And I was like, fair. Sounds like I'm coming with you.
Yeah.
And so I showed up at his office, and I truthfully did not even fully understand what he did. And it was supposed to be a 1 or 2 week unpaid internship, just basically shadowing him. And we just had, I was having fun, and I guess I worked hard enough, because that 1 week internship turned into a real internship. And then I worked for him part-time my senior year. And then right when I was graduating, he was in brokerage, and he was a multifamily broker. And right when I was graduating, he was leaving brokerage and opening his own investment and development company. And so that timed up right when I was graduating, and I went to work for his company for a couple of years out of college, doing investment and development of multifamily deals.
Yeah. Interesting. So what does that job look like day to day? Are you analyzing deals?
It was wild. I mean, I learned a ton. It was just me, David, and one other guy, Michael Krombach. Michael's awesome, but it was just the three of us. It was a new company.
Yeah.
And David already had some properties that he owned and that we were kind of responsible for looking after. And so we were kind of, in a way, doing asset management for the current portfolio that he had, but then we were out underwriting new deals, looking at new deals. And then there was kind of a whole separate bucket where we were trying to develop deals. And we had a partner group out of Miami. So I was flying all over the country.
Wow.
Looking at different sites to go build apartment. And they were specifically, we were building build to rent cottage. That's what David was, the deals he was working on. And so I was flying to Wisconsin to go look at a 30-acre piece of land to build a bunch of cottages that would be for rent. And then I would fly to Charleston and Savannah and all these different places. And then I'd come back to Birmingham. We were trying to buy existing properties in the Southeast as well. And so we'd go drive over to Coleman. He owns a couple of things in Coleman. We drive up to Coleman and go look at properties and be underwriting those deals and basically pitching investors on why they should invest. And so we'd be putting those kind of deals together.
Yeah.
And then once he bought them, or the group bought them, we were kind of responsible for executing the business plan. And a lot of times the business plan was to go renovate and add value to the properties. And it was just me, David, and Michael. And so it was like everybody was doing everything, which was awesome for me because I didn't know anything. So I was involved in almost every meeting, got to be in on decision making, which
Yeah.
was incredible. I mean, I learned a ton, and I'll never forget. There was a property that they had bought, and part of the plan was to do a renovation, and the parking lot was in really bad shape. And so David was like, all right, you're in charge of all the renovations.
Huh.
We're going to go renovate every single apartment unit, and I want you to figure out the parking lot. And I was like, okay. So I'm going and meeting with general contractors, trying to get different prices and figure that whole thing out. And then I'm like, all right, now I got to figure out the parking lot. And I didn't know anything about asphalt, parking lot. I mean, nothing. I've never been in construction. I've never been in real estate. I'm like 21 years old or 22 at this point. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to go get 3 quotes.
Yeah.
And so I got 3 quotes, and one of them was like $8,000 to just patch some holes. One of them was like 80 grand, and one of them was like 300 grand.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I have no clue what I'm supposed to do here. And I remember going to David's office and being like, hey man, I've got these 3 quotes. Like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't have time to do this. You pick.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, I don't know. And he was like, I figured out.
Wow.
And so I had to like go learn. I remember like studying asphalt, like having to learn about what is the right type of parking solution.
Yeah.
For this.
That kind of responsibility at that young of an age is awesome. That's so cool.
It was wild. I mean, he I guess trusted me to figure it out.
Yeah.
Him and Michael trusted me, but I mean, that's the best way to learn, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I'm incredibly grateful to those guys for giving me that chance to go figure it out.
Yeah, that's super fun. So where does the transition to Iron Vest happen?
So you were asking me how I met Robert earlier.
Who is the owner of Iron Vest?
That's right.
For anyone who doesn't know, Robert Crook.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
He is great. He's great. Do you know him?
Yeah. Yeah, Claire used to babysit for them.
Oh,
so
no way.
I've known him 4 years now, I think.
That's awesome.
But I'll get lunch with him every 6 months or something just to
He's awesome.
learn from him.
He's such a great guy.
Because he's awesome, yeah.
I met Robert through Kyle Crew. Kyle and I have become buddies. And longer story about Kyle, but so we had started hanging out and become buddies, and Kyle was like, hey man, you're kind of doing this analyst type job, whatever, and that's great and all, but I think you fit into kind of more of a sales role and talking to people and putting deals together. And he's like, I think you should really think about being a broker. And so I was talking to Kyle about it, met Robert, and just got really excited about the idea of kind of building my own business. Because in my opinion, when you're a broker, it's kind of like having your own business. You have your own book of clients, you have deals that you're putting together. So you're with a team for sure, but it does feel in a way like you're running your own business. And that was kind of what excited me about it. And honestly, I'm super grateful for the opportunity to work with David, but I'd kind of figured out that, he loves multifamily. He loves doing apartment deals, and that's awesome. And I just kind of figured out that I get way more excited about warehouse and
super
retail
sexy.
Deals. I mean, it sounds funny, I guess, but I just, I had never done anything except for multifamily because I didn't know any kind of real estate. I didn't know any kind of commercial real estate until I was working for David. And I don't know why I was drawn to industrial and retail properties, but I just thought it was interesting. What I love about it is, especially for industrial, I love like talking to the guys who actually own the business or even the guys who own the real estate. And sometimes it's the same. But they're just super interesting, and they've built great businesses a lot of times that are super simple. And maybe they just make one bolt. Yeah. And they supply one bolt to a auto manufacturer. Maybe it's Honda out in Lincoln, and they have a massive business and they need 100,000 square foot warehouse. And I love asking those guys about their business and how they got started. Like, how did you figure out that you were going to create a business surrounding this one bolt.
Right.
I just think those guys
That's
are
fascinating.
super interesting. And so that's what I get super fired up about. And
Yeah.
so it was a chance for me to go into sales, kind of build my own business. And I was super excited to learn about and get involved with warehouse and retail deals.
Yeah. What, I've always wondered about, when did you and Eliza get together? I guess we should talk about that first.
I met Eliza my junior year of college.
Okay.
And then we started dating. I graduated a semester early. And so we started dating after I graduated. When I first met Eliza, I was dating somebody else, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so that relationship ended, and I tried to go ask Eliza out, and she said no.
Savage.
I mean, and that was honestly kind of one of the things that drew me to her.
Yeah.
She said, she was like, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. And I was like, what? Oh, I thought I'd gotten to know her. I was somewhat confident. I thought we were starting to, form a relationship.
Yeah.
And so I felt pretty good about my chances when I asked her out, and she was like, no. And she was like, I'm not going to be a rebound.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Just gained so much respect for you. And I'm also bummed.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of excited about
And then
this.
you're like, okay, so how long do I have to wait until you're not a rebound?
literally. And so we made a deal. I was like, all right. Fair enough. And so I said, can I take you on a date in 6 months when I graduate? And she was like, yeah, I don't think you're going to remember, but sure.
Yeah.
And I put it in my calendar.
Yeah.
And I didn't need the calendar reminder. I was thinking about it.
Right.
But day after graduation, I called her up and I said, you made a deal. We got to go on a date.
Yeah.
So I took her on a date like a couple days later.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was December. I think it was technically actually January of 2020.
Okay. And then y'all dated for a while.
We did.
I'm trying to remember because Eliza also told me this story.
She probably didn't tell the whole version. She probably didn't say that she turned me down the first time.
I think she did.
Oh,
but I can't remember.
Good. We dated in total for 5 years, I think.
Okay.
And then we got married last December.
So where did you? I guess you must have started working at Iron Vest before y'all got married.
Before we got married, for sure. I think before we got engaged.
Yeah. One thing I've wondered about with commercial real estate, and part of why I honestly didn't do it, because it was really interesting to me, but I was getting married and my wife wasn't going to have income, so I needed to have income immediately. You don't have income immediately, and sometimes for like a long time.
Yeah, there's no for what we do for brokerage. There's no salary.
Yeah,
it's all commission based.
Yeah. So how long before you closed your first deal?
Which is funny you say that because Eliza has her own business as well. So
yeah,
she doesn't have a salary, so she kind of understood it. But I feel like me and her both kind of live a roller coaster.
Yeah, totally.
On that. It does take a while. Everybody says that it takes a while to close your first deal, and it's true.
Robert has this packet that he gives young people that's like all of these articles and little pieces of information about commercial real estate,
which is actually very helpful.
Extremely
for a
helpful.
lot of people.
Yes, it was helpful for me because I was like, I'm really interested in real estate because I love architecture and stuff like that. And so I was interested in it, and then he gave me that packet, and I was like, so if I'm average, it'll take me 1.5 years to get my first paycheck. Probably not going to fit in this particular phase of life. That's okay. Maybe we'll do that some other time.
I think that Robert tries to intentionally almost kind of paint the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Because then if it's better, then great. But I think he tries to be really honest with people.
Yeah.
And because it could take 1 year, 1.5 years. And that's not for everybody. That's tough.
Yeah.
It didn't take that long for me. but a deal takes just any deal takes a while to come together.
Yeah.
If you're selling a building, there's typically at least a 30 to 60 day inspection period and probably another 30 to 60 days of a closing period.
Yeah.
And so then if you came in day one and had a deal somehow, which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
It's taking
At a minimum
3 to 4 months.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did you continue analyst job until you struck your first deal, or did you
No.
have money saved to float you until?
No, I was broke, but I thought about it, and the conclusion I came to is that the stage of life that I was in, my expenses were the lowest they were ever going to be.
Right.
It was just me. I had bought a house, and I had some of my buddies that were living with me and paying rent, and I basically broke even on that situation. And so I was like, man, I don't have much money saved up at all, but if I can eat ramen and not go out on the weekends, I think I could make it a year.
Yeah.
And so actually, it wasn't a year, it was 6 months.
Yeah.
I said, I think I can make it 6 months. And I was like, man, if I don't close a deal in 6 months, then this career isn't for me and I'll have to go get a job.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
So it was pretty nerve wracking thinking back to that, actually.
Scary.
Yeah.
So how do you find a deal?
That's a loaded question.
It is.
There's a lot of ways to find a deal. We do a good bit of cold calling, and I really don't call it cold calling because it's not like you have just a sheet with properties or people's names and phone numbers. It's not like I'm just I don't know what sales uses that method still, but
Insurance.
insurance, I guess. I try really hard that when I call somebody, there's a real reason. I'm calling, maybe I have a buyer who's looking for a property that's similar to theirs, or maybe I have a tenant who could go into their building and add value. Or maybe I just think their building is really cool, and maybe I know that they have under market leases, and I want to talk to them about how to improve the property's value, and that's kind of my in. And you really can't if you help educate people and help bring them value, then a lot of times people will at least give you the opportunity to talk about selling or helping them lease something.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think that my calls aren't cold. And a lot of times we try really hard to find mutual connections with people and see if we can have a warm introduction.
Yeah.
Which I feel like in Birmingham, I think Birmingham is a really unique and special place. I really do love Birmingham. And a lot of times, Birmingham is still a big city. We forget, I think, how big it is because it feels small.
Yeah.
But it's so great that it feels small because a lot of times it's pretty rare that I find a building that I want to cold call on and we figure out who the owner is that I can't find some sort of connection.
Totally.
And so that helps a lot. But that's one way to find a deal.
Yeah. How did you find your first deal?
Let's see. I think that the first deal I ever closed was a tiny little lease deal, and it was a referral from somebody.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember who it was. Somebody referred me a tenant that needed some office space, and it was like they just needed like 2,000 square feet of office space on a 1 or 2 year lease. So not a very big deal in our world. But I worked that thing so hard. I was like, I will find every available office space for you, and I will give you every piece of market intelligence that I can figure out and try to help you lease an office space.
Yeah. Yeah. What's hot in the market right now?
I think industrial stays pretty steady.
Yeah.
It is really hard to find just a good, smaller warehouse in a good location.
Is good location like in proximity to a city or the interstate or?
All the above. I mean, people in Birmingham really like kind of the Lakeview South Side area. I mean, there's not a lot of warehouse product in Homewood and Mountain Brook, but
Yeah.
if there is, it's obviously pretty popular. Those are just two great markets. But we
Gotta have somewhere to keep your car collection. You know,
it's crazy enough. It actually, that's like a big thing. I get so many calls for wealthy men who want like a man cave and a place to keep their cars and their toys.
I was gonna say I've been to some of those in like Caba Heights and stuff, and it's pretty sick.
Have you been to the one that's back kind of behind the CVS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I have a buddy who
there's some power players that keep their cars in there.
those are some of the big guys. I have a buddy who helps manage a lot of those guys' car collections.
Is it Tommy Kitzmiller?
It is.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know Tommy.
Yeah, so
Super nice guy. I like Tommy a lot.
Great guy. I met him because I'm a big car guy also.
Nice.
And so I had this vintage Saab that I had for like most of the year last year, that I bought to like kind of flip, but also like have
Where'd you find it?
fun
Facebook?
old car. Yeah.
Did you sell it on Facebook too?
Yeah. I bought it from a guy in like Hueytown, and I bought it for $2,000, and then I drove it for 8 months and put like maybe $1,000 into it, and then I sold it for $6,000.
Sounds like a success.
It was great.
Are you gonna keep doing it?
Yeah, because like I mean, one, I like cars and it's fun, and two, I'm like, if I can not lose money on cars, then that makes it even easier to have them and justify them.
I might need to talk to you about that separately because
Yeah.
I bought a pontoon boat off of Facebook Marketplace. I guess 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Me and Eliza were getting. Me and Eliza had gotten engaged, and we wanted. Eliza had her house. Me and her lived pretty close to each other. We wanted to sell her house and have her move into my house, so that after the wedding we could just be done and not have to deal with two houses. It just kind of start fresh. And so we ended up selling her house like 3 or 4 months before the wedding, and we weren't going to live together until after the wedding. And so I got kicked out of my own house.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, I really don't want to just get an apartment in Birmingham like that
for 3 months.
For 3 months, like I'm going to try to figure out something fun.
Yeah.
And so David Oakley, he owned some apartments out on the water at Lake Logan Martin.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called him. I was like, told him the situation. I was like, man, can you help me out? I really need to rent an apartment for like 3 months. I just don't want to do Birmingham. He's like, you really want to like live in Pell City? I was like, dude, I do.
Yeah.
And so I lived out there for 3 months before me and Eliza got married.
Yeah.
And it was a blast.
That's
I had
fun.
so much fun. So I bought a pontoon off of Facebook Marketplace. I'd like come home from work and go cruise on my pontoon boat.
That's
and
hilarious.
We had a blast. But we let the lease on that go, obviously, because me and Eliza got married. And so I still have this pontoon boat. And it's just sitting out there. I haven't even seen it in probably 6 months. So I need to figure out how to sell it. And I keep thinking about putting it on Facebook Marketplace to sell it. But the problem is I don't want to drive out there.
Yeah.
I don't want to drive out there and like have to show somebody and then they don't buy it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
my biggest thing with Facebook Marketplace or kind of selling any like vehicle is I don't think people present them well.
all like the pictures and the description.
All of it. I don't think people describe or take good photos of the thing they're selling.
Just take like 10 photos and say what it is, and
the Saab that I bought had more photos of the owner's manuals and the spare parts than it had pictures of the car itself. And so I went out there and I was really nervous about it, but I was like, this guy's selling a car. He had listed it for like $3,500. So I was like, I think any car is probably worth $3,500 unless it just does not run.
Yeah.
And if this runs, it's like, how bad could it be?
So did you fix it up?
So I get out there. The dude is a mechanic at the Hyundai dealership in like Tuscaloosa or something. So he's done all the work on the car. So then I'm like, okay, this guy, like, even if he's like not that good of a mechanic, I mean, how hard can it be? It's just an old car. He's probably done enough. And so I drove it he told me the list of problems that it had. That was like, you know, the AC doesn't work or like a few other things. And I was like, I think if I can offer him $2,000 and he'll take it, then I would do it. Because if I lose $2,000, it's like, that sucks, but I can eat.
That was kind of how I felt about the boat.
Yeah.
We paid like $2,000, I think, for the pontoon boat, and it had a trailer, and it actually starts and runs. And I was like, I mean, worst case scenario, this thing. It's
like
sinks.
That's probably the bottom of like what it can be worth, you know.
We actually almost had it even worse. Me and Eliza were at the boat ramp one night, and we were pulling the boat out of the water, and it was dark, and I started to notice that like the rope that connects to the boat that you would, you know, crank it to get it up on the trailer. I started to notice that the rope was a little bit frayed. And I was like, that's not good. I'll get it up. It's dark. Like, let me get it up on the trailer right now, and I'll like replace the rope, you know, tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
And so we get the boat up on the trailer, and it's cranked up, and I'm halfway up the boat ramp, and I just heard a snap, and I looked in the rearview mirror, and my pontoon boat is sliding backwards off the trailer, and I was like, that actually would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Now I have to like get a crane or something, like a small crane to like come. If it's just sitting on the concrete on the boat, like I'd rather it sink. Then it's done.
Yeah, then
like,
it's gone.
Then it's gone.
I don't have to actually move it and do something with it.
If I have to spend money to come clean up this boat and it's just sitting on the freaking concrete, I'm gonna be ticked.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it in the rearview mirror. I'm seeing it slide off the trailer, and I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
I threw the car in reverse and just stomped on it, and just went in, and I flew down reversed into the water in the boat ramp, and that thing, the pontoon boat hit the water so hard it was like big, like
splash everything,
and it starts and I slam on the brakes before the truck gets in the water. The boat's floating away. I throw it in park. I had to like swim out to it and get it.
That's crazy.
And I was like, okay. I didn't think that. I thought the worst that could happen is it could sink and I could lose $2,000, but actually there was a worse scenario that I wasn't aware of.
That's hilarious. So yeah, I can help you sell your boat if you want.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
But I took like really good photos of the car. I used a good camera and made a video about it.
So who bought it?
A kid from Huntsville. He was like, he had some old Mercedes, and he was like 17 and was like, this is my first like old car toy project thing. And I was like, have at it. It drives. I mean, I drove it more than my 4Runner. It's like my normal car for the whole time I had it, basically. And half the problems that the mechanic guy said were problems weren't problems.
The listy was like overly honest.
Yeah. So like he told me the HVAC that didn't blow cold. And so when I get in it, it's blowing hot. And so I like turn the air off because it was like the summer when I bought it. It was like May. So I was like, I'm not going to drive around with the heat blasting. And I buy it from him, and I'm like, you know, surely I can just like put some, you know, there's like this recharge fluid you can put in it or whatever. So I was like, I think I could figure this out. And I'm driving home to go show my parents because they live in Vestavia, and I was like, I want to show my parents my new car. And there's a little snowflake button on the dashboard, and so I pressed it and turned the air on, started blowing cold air. Wow. So I don't know how the mechanic missed that, but the mechanic missed that.
Just one button.
So anyway, that's my sob story. But I was at a car show just like with a buddy, and it was at the Porsche dealership, and this guy comes marching out with a coffee, comes up to me. He's like, is this your car? I was like, yeah. He's like, I have a Saab too. And it was Tommy. And so we ended up like chit-chatting, and then we would like, I think we went to like a car show together, and then we went and we drove each other's cars because he has a Saab too. He has a bunch of cars.
Yeah.
But anyway, when we went to go get his Saab, it was at the warehouse. So
I like Tommy a lot. I send him some buildings every once in a while. I think he wants to have a man cave place to keep his cars.
Yeah. Yeah, he keeps a couple of them out there, but he's got like 7 cars or something, so it's a lot to juggle.
And I think he manages other people's cars.
He does.
And keeps them up for them,
yeah.
which is kind of cool.
It's a cool gig.
Yeah.
It's kind of a dream gig. He actually, the crazy thing about, I should interview him. I hadn't thought about that. he managed some of Jay Leno's cars for
I didn't
a little
know
while.
that.
He lived in California, and he helped Jay Leno with his collection for a little bit.
So
he's got some crazy stories.
That's an interesting
but
fact.
He's also like, he's kind of mysterious. You kind of have to like pull stuff out of him a little bit. So like, I don't know. But he's awesome.
a fun guy too. I feel like I see him whenever we go out to dinner.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you always?
He's
going out to
always
eat,
at like
dude?
Bottega or Fon or something. Anyway, one thing I was wondering about was, since you're doing warehouses and stuff like that, have you seen anything in your work dealing with like all the data centers and stuff?
Honestly, a little bit, but no. We're a small brokerage, and I feel like a lot of that data center stuff is still very new.
Yeah,
and it is making its way to Alabama now, but I feel like Alabama was lagging a bit, and the data center companies, are big companies, and a lot of times those are national companies, kind of get passed down through national brokerages.
yeah.
And so
would that be like a Colliers or something?
Colliers, Cushman and Wakefield. So a lot of times I feel like they kind of know of, or those accounts get passed down. Like if some national data center group wants to build a data center in Alabama, well, they probably have a relationship with Colliers in, I don't know, New York City.
Yeah.
And that relationship gets passed down to somebody here.
Yeah.
And so the way that like we would be in on, I mean, I guess we in theory could meet a data center group. There's nothing preventing us from that, but probably more likely is that we have a relationship with the landowner. But there's just, I think it's picking up, but there's not tons of data centers going up in Alabama. Like, I mean, even Georgia is building a fair amount of data centers. I'm not an expert on the topic, but
yeah,
I think they're building a lot more than we are. I mean, I think it's coming to Alabama. I mean, there's some big ones that are being talked about, but to answer your question, like, no, I'm not super involved with it. Maybe it'll continue to become a bigger industry and more of us will get involved with it.
Yeah. I was curious. I feel like the stereotype of commercial real estate people is that they work all the time. Which I think is a fair stereotype because most of the commercial real estate guys I know work all the time. But because it takes so long to put together a deal, and because like they happen relatively infrequently, sometimes it's hard to understand like, what are you guys even doing? Like, what are you doing all the time?
We're trying to put together deals just constantly.
What does that look like?
I mean,
if I don't know anything about commercial real estate, which I know a little bit, what do you, and I want to know in detail, like what you do every day. What are you doing?
Well, every day is different.
Yeah.
Which is one thing that I love.
That's
about.
such a real estate guy thing to say,
I mean,
too.
It sounds super cliche, but it really is true. Like I don't have, we try to time block a little bit. Like I've set aside time every Wednesday morning is when I cold call. Mm-hmm. And so but that's like the only thing on my calendar that stays the same every week. Other than that, we're going and seeing somebody's building, driving out to meet with a client, calling on people, it's truly so random. Like, yeah. Or you might, a lot of times what happens is it's just, in my mind, brokerage real estate is an information game. Mm-hmm. I mean, the value that I provide my client, most of my clients are sharp, super smart, savvy investors or business people. Do they need my help to analyze a deal? Maybe, but probably not. There's probably nothing that I'm going to tell them that they can't figure out or learn or know themselves other than market information. And so I think that's a lot of the value that brokers or that I provide to people is giving them information that they otherwise wouldn't have. And a big one of those is leases. So sales are publicly recorded. So you can go look up almost any, but in Alabama, you can look up pretty much any property, what it sold for. So you can get the sale comps on that. But lease, like trying to find lease comps, those are not publicly recorded. And so if you have those, in theory, you have information that the general public does not have. So that's a huge value that I could add to somebody. And so, a lot of times that's the kind of thing our clients want to know. And like, that's where we can really help when a client's trying to figure out what's a building worth, what would this actually lease for? How long is it going to take to lease? Things like that.
Yeah.
Sorry. My point was we're in the information game. People use us because we have information. So a lot of times what we do all day is try to listen to what's going on in the market. We may go to a happy hour and, so-and-so is talking about a deal they just did. And if you can listen to that, remember that, and write it down, and then kind of think about what's the action to take from that. It's like, hey, so-and-so has a tenant. They're looking for 10,000 square feet. And so then I start thinking, well, who do I know that might have 10,000 square feet? And I'm calling around, hey, do you have warehouse space for 10,000 square feet? Do you know of anything? Do you have a tenant leaving soon? Yeah. Are you buying any new buildings that are vacant? Because we have a tenant that's looking for 10,000 feet. So it's truly, it's almost like, it's just like a big rumor mill is a lot of what we do all day.
Yeah.
It's just talking to people. Hey, I heard I heard this, is this true? Are these people looking for this? Who are they working with? Do they have an agent? Trying to piece together. I mean, what we do all day is piecing together limited information.
Yeah.
And trying to connect the dots.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of times in business, a lot of businesses you produce product or service, and there's a lot of efficiency in trying to streamline that process. It doesn't feel like that's really possible in real estate.
Part of what I love about real estate is that it's inefficient.
Yeah.
I mean, that creates opportunity.
Yeah. So is there any area where you is that kind of what you're going after, is trying to create efficiency? Like what does efficiency look like in your work?
I guess you try to create efficiency for your clients. You try to give them all of the information that you have and let them make the most informed decision that they can.
Yeah.
But I think that real estate is inherently inefficient. It's not like the stock market.
Right.
The prices are not published to the general public every day.
Yeah.
And someone can look up Facebook stock and decide if they think it's a good buy and look at the earnings per share and all that stuff. I mean, there certainly are metrics people look at for real estate, but that the market is just not efficient in that way, and it never will be. It can't. And maybe it will become slightly more efficient, as I think that commercial real estate lags in technology, and I'm sure AI will change that somehow, but I still feel like it's kind of an old school industry.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will change some, but I don't think it'll ever become it can't become a truly efficient market.
Yeah. How do you know what a building is worth or a property is worth?
The easiest way to put it is there's kind of just three ways. The first is replacement cost. What would it cost to build this today if this building wasn't here? The second is looking at sales comps. So you look at similar buildings and just, hey, what price per foot did that sell for? Was it in a similar condition, or was it a piece of junk when it sold? When did it sell? What were all the conditions surrounding that sale? You try to come up with, is this building as nice as this building? Does this deserve the same price per foot that the neighbor property sold for? And then third is the income approach, which is what, if the building is already rented, well, how much income is it producing, and what return would an investor want, and that drives the price. And then if it's not rented already, then what would it really rent for? Would there be costs associated with getting it rented? Does the building need a renovation? How much are you going to have to pay in leasing commissions, et cetera? And then all of that kind of determines how much income the building could produce and the cost, and then that would determine how much an investor or a business owner who is going to occupy it would pay for that building.
Yeah. do you think? I feel like with real estate, a lot of times people end up doing a lot of different things, and what I mean by that is like you might start selling homes, and then you end up selling commercial properties, and then you're selling commercial properties, but you're also owning them, and you're also like, it feels like you end up kind of being landlord and broker and investor all kind of like at the same time. Is that true, or do some people kind of keep their hands out of one or the other?
That's probably accurate of a lot of people, and I think that a lot of people I think a lot of people view it as a career progression to be able to broker enough deals to then own deals. And I mean, that's what I want to do, is build a portfolio of stuff that I am able to own. But there's certain people that don't, they want to do brokerage and not have the liability, take the risk of owning buildings.
Yeah. This is kind of personal, but how do you manage your finances when you're just hitting these big checks, and then the next one you don't know when it's going to come, and it's every few months or it's every couple weeks, or how, like, I don't know.
The most realistic answer I could give for that is that I feel like you just kind of keep whatever you want to call it, emergency fund. You keep a cushion, because I mean, you can't count on a deal closing until it's closed. I mean, we've had deals die. I mean, this year, we got a deal was all the way to the closing. We were closing that day, and the deal fell apart for a lot of reasons. But I mean, I was feeling pretty good about it as we were closing that day. Yeah, and then it fell apart. So I think it's super hard to like make a budget and say, well, I'm going to make X next month or this year. I mean, you can kind of back into it and you can try to do that, but you really don't know. You just kind of work as hard as you can, and you just let the chips fall where they fall. Yeah. And so you just kind of, at least for me, I just try to keep a emergency fund or a buffer and just keep working hard. Yeah. I feel like that's all you can do.
Yeah. I feel part of that because I do sales, but it's salary plus commission. Yeah. So like probably 40% of my income is like what I go out and do and kill and earn.
Do you have a better method of?
No. No, it's because it's like I'll have a good month and I'll be like, okay, let's put away some of this, and then it's like, a car bill will come up or something, and it's like, well, it's a good thing I put it away, but now it's gone because I just had to spend it on this thing. So not really. Yeah. But as much as I can, it's been tough because with Claire not working, we were pretty stretched, and we're trying to buy a house, and we did, but that's like meant that we haven't really been saving. We've kind of just been like save, buy a house, maintain until she starts working.
And it's hard because that house is probably an investment and probably but you can't touch it.
Right. It's illiquid.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know this is right
today.
Right. This is good, and this will be great in the future, and we'll, all of that. But today it's like, well, it'd be nice to have a little bit of that extra cash to, put in the fluff account or whatever.
It's hard to manage. I mean, me and Eliza just bought a house, and it's kind of a piece of junk, and we knew it was, but it needs a lot of work. And it's like, we just bought this house, and now we really need to probably start some renovations. And I'm kind of like, God, I want to see if a couple of deals close before we start down this road of trying to renovate this thing. But I don't know. It's tough. It's I feel like I don't have a good formula for how to manage it. You just it's kind of a feel thing. Yeah. I'm trying not to, obviously, I guess, live above your means. Try to be pretty responsible.
Yeah. As we all should be at our age, is what it is. Do you think you would consider yourself pretty ambitious?
Yeah, I think I would have to say yes. I think if you're willing to go into a commission only role, I think I would say that anybody that's in that kind of role, probably I would consider them ambitious.
Yeah. So what's like the dream? Like if you're 20 years into your career, what do you see yourself doing?
Man, I want to own a portfolio of warehouses. And I don't think that I'll ever stop. I don't think that I'll ever stop brokering. I feel like it just is who I am. Like I love helping people put deals together.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I'm a deal junkie, and I want to put some of those deals together for myself one day. But it's so fun, and so I think I'll always be doing deals in some kind. But it would be awesome to build up a portfolio of long-term real estate. That's what I want to do, and then I really would like to have some kind of leadership position and be able to help younger guys get going in their careers. And I had guys that David Oakley and Robert Crook did that for me, and I would say it changed my life. Those guys poured into me, and they were a huge blessing on my life. And so, in my opinion, it's kind of a duty of mine to. I'm not even successful, but hopefully one day will be. But
yeah, you're on your way
to pour back into younger guys to help them get started.
Yeah.
So I'd love to, kind of maybe have a team of guys that work with me that I can help mentor them. So if I could own some real estate and help some younger guys, I guess that's the dream.
Yeah. Sounds like a good dream.
Yeah.
It could be fun. What does Eliza think about what you do?
It's an interesting question. Kind of like we were talking about earlier, she's an entrepreneur, and she owns her business, so she knows how volatile it is. I think there's probably days where she wishes both of us just had salary jobs, and but that's just not how either of us are wired. I think she just knows me so well, and I know her. Like, she just is glad that I'm doing something that I enjoy and that I have fun doing.
Yeah.
Like I want to start investing in some real estate, and I've talked to Eliza a bunch about it, and I think she's just like, I trust you. I don't really want to. She does want to hear about it, but not really. There comes a point where
that's my wife.
I've over-explained.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay.
She's like, you don't have to tell me about it for the 5th time.
Yeah.
It's okay. I got it the first time.
Yeah. Like I want to tell her about it, and she wants to hear about it, but then, there's a limit to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I resonate with that. I relate with that. Well, thanks for chatting.
Yeah.
This was fun.
That's it.
Did we miss anything?
Unless you have something else.
I don't think so. I just wanted to learn.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned a lot.
Cool.
I think what you do is awesome. Sounds fun.
Well, it's my first podcast ever, so that was fun to learn about.
Yeah.
Podcasts.
If it helps, well, I guess, I don't know. This is an insight that I had. I feel like the part of you that you thought would be a good lawyer because you like arguing or whatever, I think that part of you is the deal maker part of you.
Yeah, probably.
Because what you are, you're kind of making your case for both sides, buyer and seller.
That's right.
And putting it together. So I feel like but it's less like, there's less strife and animosity as opposed to like a courtroom.
I would beg to differ.
Never mind.
I would beg to differ.
Okay. Never mind.
I got dog cussed last week.
All right. I thought
by another broker.
Yeah.
You just get into stuff like arguing about commissions.
Yeah.
And there's another guy who's probably my dad's age.
Yeah.
And we were working on a deal, and we've been negotiating this deal for weeks, and we finally get the full deal ironed out. And he's like, "Okay, man, I think we've got everything worked out. Last thing is, I'm gonna cut your commission by 1%." And I was like, "Why? Like, is there I'm not trying to be like difficult with you, but like, is there a reason? Like, I'm asking for just a market. Like, this is what everybody else gets paid in real estate brokerage. Is a normal percentage."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, no, it's just because this is what I'm saying. We're gonna do what I'm saying. I want the extra %." And I was like, "No." Like, I don't know why you like. No, I'm not gonna just agree to that. Like,
right.
For
why?
If there was like some special reason, and like, Well, I'd talk about it with you, but like if you're just saying you want that percent, like no, you're not just going to take it from me.
Yeah.
And so and he just dog cussed me.
That's
and I was
crazy.
like, I don't even know what to say. Like I'm sorry. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I'm not going to budge. Like
Yeah.
you cussing me out is not going to make me change my mind.
Right.
And he like nothing happened for a few days. And then he like called me back and was like, all right, you can have it. I was like, okay.
That's crazy.
I mean, stuff like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And then you get into weird situations. I was just kind of dealing with this today. It gets tough. You know, I was dealing with a situation today. I knew of a building that could be, and it was this specific situation was a building that could be leased, and I knew that there was a company who would like it. But there was already a broker on both sides. The tenant had a tenant rep, and I don't. Supposedly there's a landlord rep, but we don't know who it is. But so and the unique part about it was the tenant and the tenant rep didn't know about the building. I'm the only one who knows about the building, and so I'm like, man, I can put this deal together. Like I have all the information. I know they're going to want it. I know exactly what they're looking for. They've been looking for a long time. This is what they want.
Yeah.
And the landlord rep doesn't know about the other company. So I'm in the middle and I'm like, man, I can put all this together. But the problem is both sides already have agents. So I'm like, man, how am I'm going to do all the work and connect the dots here and put this whole thing together. But am I going to get cut out if I do that? And so then you have to call and like I called the other broker who was representing the tenant. I was like, man, I'm just going to try to trust you and just lay my cards out on the table. Like, hey, I heard you were representing them, and I want to be honest with you too. I'm not trying to go around you. Like I'm a super nice guy. I really like him. Like I'm in no way am I trying to like take his client or cut him out.
Right.
I'm not trying to take from anybody. All I'm saying is if I'm going to do all the work and put this deal together, I don't want to be cut out.
Yeah.
And so it's hard because you're like, man, I know there's a deal here, and I'm not trying to be difficult, but I don't want to just waste my time and then kind of get cut out of the middle. So there's some sticky conversations that happen, and it's you have to tread lightly because you don't want people to think you're going behind their back and talking to their client, because that's kind of crossing. I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me.
Yeah.
But if their client is calling me saying, hey, help us find something, we can't find something, and I have the perfect building for them, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So
I guess follow-up question, like what's it like in the industry interacting with other brokers doing the same thing? Like, are you friends? Are you frenemies?
It's cutthroat. I mean, I think Birmingham is different than a lot of places. I mean, I think New York City is like probably truly like cutthroat.
Yeah.
And people don't care and will cut you out of a deal. Birmingham is different. There's a lot of super nice people here, but people get weird about money. And if there's an opportunity to cut you out of a deal, it probably will happen. So it's weird. You want to trust people, and like you are friends with all these guys or girls, and everybody's generally like super nice. And there's a lot of scenarios where you work together.
Yeah.
But then when it comes down to actually finalizing a deal, and people are, I guess rightfully so, out for their self-interest.
Right.
But it gets heated.
I guess I hadn't thought about it. Because, like, insurance is kind of like that to some extent. But it is like, somebody's got to write the policy, But we don't usually end up interacting with the other agents at all. And so I guess if you're buying and selling, like, you kind of end up, somebody's working on each side.
Well, yeah, like if I had a buyer and somebody else was representing the seller, so then we're working together with other brokers.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to talk to them. So you want to, and just to be a good guy or whatever, you want to have a good relationship with everybody, but you kind of have to have a good relationship with everybody. Like if I go and I actually really like this about Birmingham, that it's a small town and your reputation really matters. But if I go and cut somebody out of a deal and go around them, well, the whole town's going to know. Everybody's going to know immediately.
Yeah.
Because that person's going to go tell their friend, and they're going to tell their friend, hey, Jordan freaking screwed me out of this deal. Like,
Yeah.
don't do another deal with him.
Yeah.
Which I really do. I like that your reputation matters in Birmingham. I like that it's, if you are who you say you are and people can trust you and you do the right thing, then you shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that too. I think Birmingham's a special place. That's why I haven't left.
Yeah.
I like it here. Well, yeah, that's a good chat. Anything
Sweet.
else you
Enjoyed
think?
it. I don't think so. I want you to help me sell my boat.
Yeah, we'll talk. If you need to buy a building or sell a building or lease a building or anything else that has to do with property, hit up our boy, Jordan Weaver.
Love it.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.